Once again, I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and to some of you, good night, depending on your time zone. Don't be surprised, it's George Onibe. This morning, I want us to look at the message I titled, If You Lose Your Language, You Lose Everything. I know not everybody will be able to understand what it takes to be a Nigerian. And I know that not all Nigerians understand the organized crime against the indigenous people. I know that Nigerians cannot come out and tell you the truth behind the creation of the idea or concept known as Wazobia. There has been problem regarding this issue for a very long time, which was not addressed. Under the colonial era, there were times the issue of minority report came up. The issue of minority report was not in favor of anybody, and so somewhere along the line, they have to kill it. The Ambazonian, the Englandfo of Cameroon, left Nigeria. Under the same era, some Cameroon left Cameroon and become Nigeria. That is why you begin to have people like Adamawa State, Atiku Abubakar village. When they talk about the major ethnic groups, I think ordinarily, the essence of population is to enable us know how to distribute our God-given wealth, to help us know how we can manage some economic challenges. Because with the accurate numerical presentation, we should know how to battle any challenges. But when it comes to the idea of one Nigeria, when you hear the majority, all it comes about who remains dominant. This mindset, even though I'm not against it, has actually become the major influencer of tribalism, nepotism. It has become the foothold of criminality. And guess who bear the brunt? Minority. But they are not my concern, because before our time is up, we will expose all of them, since they don't want to rest. We are starting with the Igbo Biafra people, because they have chewed more than they can swallow. And I must be frank to you, I am dressing like this so that you know me. We have unique way of dressing. And if you are from my place, you will know who I am. I am a car man, I am a Abo man. And if you want to be sincere, you will know Igbo people don't dress like this. This is just the way young men, elderly people dress. Not occasion, on a casual basis. This is how we dress. But you see, most Eka people don't know. And if I were to be Igbo man, they will say it's Igbo dressing. And I know Igbo people will say so. But that is not the truth. Their own Ishisiago will dash them. An Ikore person will ultimately wear itibo and tie wrapper. Not like this. But it's not as if there is a rule that you cannot dress the way you like. We have the purpose, we have the reason why we dress this way as Eka people. And now, this having been said, it's talking about our cultural heritage. This is who we are. We are not going about claiming anybody's attire, because it's not just about the attire. It boils down to your cultural heritage. It boils down to your language, which is the main purpose of our discussion today. We have found ourselves in a position where if I talk or you check my platform, you will see Igbo people telling you are speaking Igbo language, you are answering Igbo name. These things are not true, but blunted lies. Yes, it's true. Sometimes some of our people ignorantly, or maybe because of the love we have for them, we can answer Yoruba name. We can answer Hausa name, we can answer Igbo name. But considering the fact that the Igbos are closer to us in terms of geographical location, and with the help of the Catholic Church, through Samuel Ajayi Crowther, they cooked up this language called Igbo and dragged so many ethnic groups to begin to speak the language. The Igbo, as you know, does not exist. This one they call Central Igbo. It's a prank, it's a fraud. That is the handwork of the Catholic Church, Samuel Ajayi Crowther. They were actually trying to bring us together so they can easily control us, or should I say easily manipulate us. That is what they call indirect rule. So they took the major languages of the indigenous people, ranging from Anyoma, from Okwane, Assimilate, Ndokwa, and Anyocha. They took our language, and then they went to the current day Southeast and take some other languages that make more meaning when it comes to that terrain. But unfortunately for my people, we were not interested in this politics. This project was sponsored by Igbo people. Go and ask Cardinal Roger. And now, over time, what they succeeded in doing is to create a central Igbo. This enabled them to communicate among themselves. Because all of them claiming Igbo today now, all of them are not Igbo. They were assimilated. But we on the other side, like Eka people, retain our original language. I remember when I was in the primary school, they used to teach us our language in the primary school. I actually attended Odele Primary School, Boji Agbo, by his street. I remember the topic was known as Ekuku Ogungweka. I studied a car language throughout my primary school. But later along the way, when these policies of assimilation deepened in, they began to replace teaching us our own indigenous language and started teaching us Igbo language. And in the church, the Catholic Church most especially, in this era, when we go to any Catholic church now, because we do not have most of our people who are Reverend Father, bring Igbo man to come and teach us Igbo. And then we begin to holler, na fana, na wa, na monso. After all the Catholic Church ceremony, they end up giving us baptismal name. In most cases, we answer Peter, Paul, John, Andrew, James, etc., etc. But in the era where this organized crime of dominance, expansionist, has eaten up the average Igbo Biafra man, they decide to change it by giving us our baptismal name. You begin to hear Ikechukwu. You begin to hear Chukwu Emeka. You begin to hear all these Chukwu. But we love God, and we never see what was coming, and we accepted it. But with time, we notice the game they are playing among us. When we come close to them, in their own community, they will not speak Igbo. They will not speak our language. They will compare us by their body language. We must speak Igbo. Or they pretend they don't know how. Now, this is not only Igbo. This is the game of Wazobia. But I'm focusing on the Igbo because they are our problem now. You look at the Yoruba. They want you to speak Yoruba by every means necessary. You look at the Hausa. It is applicable to you. The Hausa man will not speak Hausa, your language or English. Most of them pretend they don't even understand English just to make you speak Hausa. And then the Igbos are doing their own, how they are doing it. Right there in our community, those of you in Urugudu, you will notice that right there in our market, they want you to speak Igbo. To you, you speak Igbo, and it makes sense. You don't even need to learn it. You understand it. You speak it perfectly, just like as I am. This message is supposed to come in a car language. But I'm not trying to save only a car people. I'm trying to, prick the conscience of those supposed minority. Those of you in the north, you think you are Hausa, you are abandoning your language, and you are speaking Hausa, it will dawn on you. Those of you in the south, you are abandoning your language, you want to speak Igbo, it will dawn on you. Those of you in the west, you are abandoning your own language, you want to speak Yoruba, it will dawn on all of you. There is a reason why I'm saying this. Because Nigeria, our country, there is a lot of refurbishment, there is a lot of overhauling, there is a lot of issues to be addressed, and then we can completely settle down and say this is our home. Until then, we are not losing faith, we are not losing hope. Now, let me digress so you will understand the importance. You hear this history of insecurity. Let's look at the southeast. Now the Kano boys, unknown gunmen, are killing Igbo people. Sometimes they blame it on Fulani headsmen. They blame it on Miati Allah. They blame it on Boko Haram. But when you carry out forensic investigation, you will discover that about 99.9% of this heinous crime against indigenous people within the southeast is actually carried out by Igbo people. We have somebody like Professor Charles Soludo, the current immediate governor of Anambra State. He made it clear. And he was not blackmailing his people. He said since he became governor, almost 2 years on, all the case of insecurity before his office as the incumbent governor, none were Fulani headsmen. And so now the Kano boys are on the rampage, killing Igbo people just to blackmail fellow Wazobia, Hausa. And so the issue of insecurity, you go to the north, every day they are killing people. Go and look at the people killing people. These people are not Hausa. Take a record of 99.9% of those northern that are being killed by terrorists, as they call them. You will see they are not called Hausa, because the word Hausa is even suspicious, because we don't know who is really acting it, just that they use the name Hausa. It may be Fulani people. It may be another tribe, but they hide under Hausa. So when they kill you as a minority in the north, they will say, leave them. All of them are Hausa. I need you to pay attention why this issue, you cannot sweep it under the carpet. And now coming back to where we are today, the Boko Haram terrorists in the north are being rehabilitated, sometimes absorbed into government parasitators. They bring them in the army, take them to the police, give them good job, even send them abroad. That was exactly the same thing Ale Nunyama wanted to do until Nnamdi Kanu was exposed. You know, Ale Nunyama took Nnamdi Kanu family and the rest of them and took them to America to give them jolly. To them, they are solving Nigerian problem. But they did not know that negotiating with terrorists is one thing we cannot afford. This having been said, you look at just recently, that should be yesterday, the Nigerian Navy or Air Force, with their intelligence report, that should be the Nigerian Air Force, went to bomb a community in Eche, River State. And what did they say? They said they were doing bullfire. They did not carry out any investigation. They have received intelligent report. And so they went to where local villagers are producing Ogogoro spirits and they bombed them. It's not yet clear how many people died there. But they told us it's Oye Bonkre. And then I asked a question. If it's Oye Bonkre, what about Boko Haram? How many of them have they bombed this year? Intelligent report. And now we should know this is a country of double standard. But somewhere along the line, there are rules meant to favor some people and meant to destroy some people. But while we are trying to fish out those people who are doing this thing, We need to begin to protect ourselves in a particular way. Now, this is the reason I'm not generalizing it. We call it spade a spade. It is not every Yoruba politician that is favoring Yoruba people. There are a lot of Yoruba people that if they have their way, they will remove President Ahmed Bola Tinubu. I heard a broadcast of a Yoruba man, a press communique or interview he issued to one of these TV stations. He said that if Tinubu become the president of Nigeria, that he was going to relocate from Nigeria. He will not come back again. He said many things against Tinubu, just like the issue of Yanoja. That is why we did not keep quiet, because people have been able to presage what Tinubu will do, and we know what Tinubu will do. But we also know that not all Yoruba are benefiting from Tinubu atrocity. And we also know that calling out Tinubu without preparing the foundation to checkmate this criminal-minded individual will amount to nothing. And then you come back to the north. Not every Hausa or northern indigenes are benefiting from the activities of their corrupt politicians. Majority of the Hausa are the ones suffering in Nigeria. Forget about the pretense that or the illusion that they have arrived. No, they are the ones suffering more in Nigeria, if truth be told. And so when you begin to generalize it that it's Hausa people, invariably, the corrupt politician will escape. And then you come to the southeast, addressing the majority, using them as a focal point to pass my message. You come to the Igbo. Not every Igbo people are enjoying from the loot of their corrupt politician or the shenanigan of Nnamdi Kanu and unknown government. Not every one of them. In fact, in the southeast, the Igbo people have become victims of their own occupation. If unknown government kill 20 people, go and check the record. 19 of them are Igbo people. The other 2 are collateral damage. Because when they see their brother, that is when they have power to do this rubbish they are doing. And so if we generalize it, what about Igbo people that I'm helping? I'm helping a lot of Igbo people around me. Although this is not something we should say, but they are still Igbo. And I tell them to their face, in fact, they are ashamed that they are Igbo. Not to talk of saying they are Igbo Biafra. Because Ejambu Kimofe, Unyanya Piamane. And so we have come to a stage where we are losing, or let's say lose guiding. We are taking a lot of things for granted. You go to our churches today, right there in our communities, they want to sing praise and worship. You will not hear them sing Abo song. I begin to wonder, do we even have any Abo song we can sing, for instance, inside the church? Please, I can't remember anyone. And so if you know anyone, please. Because I can sing many Christian songs, but lo and behold, 99.9% of them are Igbo songs. I don't know how to sing any Eka song in the church. I grew up in Eka land. Because all the time, you begin to sing Igbo song. It's okay because they colonize us in the church. They are still colonizing us. And so even when you want to deliberately sing a Eka song in the church, they will waive it. I'm coming. If you go to the West, and I'm sure I can sing so many Yoruba Christian worship. Let's leave Hausa because they are Muslim. But what about our own Eka song? Akwa Ibom people try to have their own. Maybe Benin people try to have their own, but it's not popular in your own community. And I can say almost 70% of Benin people can lead a worship and praise song in Igbo language. Almost 95% of Benin people, for instance, can lead praise worship in Yoruba language. And so what happened to your own? No, I hate Jesus pass, but I'm coming. To you, it doesn't make sense, but it does now. With the activities of Igbo Unity Beggar, it's making sense. You cannot forget that they are the same people. Igbo Biafra people metamorphosed to obedient movement, and now they are the Unity Beggar, and of course their latest platform is Coalition. Because we attack Coalition, they change the name, but they will soon come up with another name. And now the point is, that song we can sing in Igbo, why can't we sing it in Abo? Will it be a crime? No, they will not respect it. They will tone it down. They will not they will call it a bluff. But believe me, Unye Kakeme Onai Bemba. If you don't stand your ground, they will never take you serious. Now, that is just one part of it. And so when we go to worship God, we worship God in white man language, we worship God in Yoruba language, we worship God in Igbo language. If I want to worship now, I can spend 1 hour worshiping God in Yoruba dialect without alternating. I will say, time me for 1 hour. Where do I start from? Oshubarere o baba mimo oshubarere o obata uri tawonishe owore oshubarere o. In most cases, I'm even saying what I don't understand. But believe me, I get it perfectly. And should we come to Igbo language when we say Anye na jage mau nihi na emara mau ihunanya ne na ge obioma ge o ujuru anyanya dadi o inwe ge mgbanwe o odigonye deka ge Ebu Wafa no Omega Daddy and I can do this 3 hours even without adding another language. But let me speak in Abo now. Dodo ni muna mundi abo wasile ni mo ele aboka e kabo. When now doesn't ego bituare. Yaka e kabo. And you see, something is wrong. Let's blame Igbo people for that. Okay, let us blame Yoruba people for that. My brother, no. And so gradually over time, we begin to look down on our heritage, on our language most especially, which is the focus of this discussion. It's applicable to every other ethnic group. And so we want to belong. We are belonging. I hope you know we are belonging. And so we follow popular opinion. We neglect our own. Some of us now, your children name are Chedema. Yao, if I am young, then you was a horasono. Chedema. Ku meka, ezimeke. Munem. Nyagoma we fandibo. Don't forget, Igbo people did not force us to answer their name. And I will not blame you. We loved them. We trusted them. That is the only reason. Because of Jesus Christ. But you are losing your mind. We used to have names like Oniwelehi. We used to have names like Obuho Unwa. We used to have names like Oyekose. We used to have names like Ehidu. I can go on and on and on and on. Where is Kagwekuzi? Where is this name like Ovia? Where is Igumbo? Where is Motiku? Where is Indi Benoba? Where are these people? Do we blame Igbo people? They took it from us? No. We are the one making the mistake. Somehow, we have been propagandically re-engineered. They have used propaganda to re-engineer us. Don't let anybody deceive you. Look at a church pioneered by Igbo people. You will see 99.9% of their general overseer, all of them are Igbo. Go and look at church pastored by Yoruba, 99.9%, all of them are Igbo. It is only people like minority, David Ibiomie, people like Christo Koche, all these minority pastors, Suleiman, them. Those are the people you will get to their church. You will see the true spirit of one Nigeria. But am I blaming them? No. But we have come to a stage where we come out in our own gathering. We begin to speak Igbo. And one will begin to wonder, what is happening? In one of those videos I received recently, coming from the palace of the Obi of Abo, His Royal Highness Ubika Bwekuse, he asked one of the elders to lead in prayer. And the elder started praying and started with Chuko Kikabiama, who Kenyan who menem. The day Obi of Abo shot him down. In the midst of that prayer, I cut him off. Say, what are nonsense? And you wouldn't Igbo. Why are you praying for us like that? Maybe that man has followed me to Biafra. Maybe he has followed me to Biafra. And that is when I knew that, this my king still know about who we are. The man was cut short. If you don't know how to pray, you shut up. How many Eka people, how many Anyoma people can come out and praise God and worship God in their own language, in their own dialect? How many? We have been colonized without our knowledge. And now, you see the irony of the whole matter. It's difficult for us to come together, home and abroad. I want you to look at those who traveled to abroad, those of Nigerians in diaspora. I want you to see Yoruba people. It's easy for them to come together outside their homeland. Yoruba in River State, for instance, will have a community of Yoruba people. They live peacefully, humbly, respectfully. And the moment people begin to trip into those areas, they move to another area. That is how Yoruba behave. How do they know they are Yoruba? How could they be able to start up immediately? Because of their language. No wonder our people say your language is your power. And it is easy for them to help one another. It is easy for them to solve one another problem. And then check Hausa people. When they leave their homeland, they don't even need accommodation. Anywhere they see, all of them will gather there. What brings them together? They are not even all Hausa. But as far as you can speak Hausa, that language, they incorporate you into the group. You see all of them are Hausa, all of them are not Hausa. But it's that language that is connecting them. I'm coming. And when you see Igbo people, when they tell you trade fair belong to Igbo people, it's not as if there are no other tribes there. They will take over that area, they themselves. They won't even allow another ethnic group to survive there. Why? Courtesy of their language. Despite the fact that there are some discrimination among them. Because you know Anambra people are original Igbo and Ebonyi people are fake Igbo. But at least it becomes Igbo quarter. And now you, that is Agboma, how do you blend? Because of our own mentality, we can't blend. Majorly, because most of us can't speak Igbo. I remember one of my younger brother, when he came back from one of these abroad country. And I went to pick him up in the airport. And I noticed that for almost the journey from the airport to our community, he was giving me fune. Oh, bro, what is happening, bro? Everywhere is there, bro. Oh, bro. I say, Pachanenya le hunzi bro. Bro ke soko ke poke beni. Umene le nwa bahara agwa bro. Ke me bro. Umene achon jun kuku. Ekusile. If you don't want to talk to me, don't talk to me. You stay abroad 10 years now, you don't become bro. Bro, Yamase swabo. And to some of us, the bro, the English, relinquishing our own is what makes us proud. And of course, I will not blame anybody because I am a victim of this very problem. And I'm not relenting about it. Before my time is up, we'll get right. And so maybe based on intermarriage, you marry somebody who don't understand your language, your children may not understand your language. But the most foolish set of us is those ones who are a car person marrying a car and your children are speaking English. To you is development. It will dawn on all of you. It's foolishness. Because at the end of the day, we are losing grip, hold over our land. Remember, what we call Ale is what we call Ale. What we call your land is what you call your language. That is why these Igbo Biafra people, they know what you don't know. They have studied us because they've been able to infiltrate us, and that is why they are asking that you speak their language and that your land belongs to them. Agbo is Igbo land, and Agbo speak Igbo. Remember, Agbo people call land Ale, and they call language Ale. Maybe you are connecting the dots now, but I know most of you don't know. Alionya wonder. And so to you want to be accepted. You see the insult that will come here later on, but it doesn't move me because I know where we are heading to. So you begin to dash out your language. You begin to kill your language. I'm talking to you, minority. It doesn't matter whether they understand or they don't understand. Your language, first of all, is your source of livelihood. And now, these are some of the benefits of being able to speak your own language. Your people can have a meeting without other people knowing. It creates room for privacy, making it conducive for anyone to invade your privacy, most especially when certain issues are meant to be discussed. I'm not blaming those who are harpering their language. I am telling you to learn from them and protect your own language. You know what I do? Sometimes I do very stupid thing. When I come to you, I begin to speak Yoruba for me, for instance, and I speak English for you, and you insist on Yoruba. When you communicate anymore, you say, omo ya mi ba oni, me self I say nya 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 nya. You say, kilo so, me I say nya 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 nya. Until you speak English, we will not communicate. It is applicable to the Igbo, it is applicable to the Hausa, because if we cannot respect each other, you don't want to push your language on me. Let us use the colonial master strategy. They have conquered us already. Nobody will conquer us. Or are you telling me our ancestors were not communicating before we were invaded? Bini was speaking Bini to Yoruba, and Yoruba was speaking Hausa to Bini. Bini was speaking Bini to Abo, and Abo was speaking Abo to Bini. So how come it's a lingua franca? Without the English, we can't communicate. Because Shaka the Zulu was actually talking to Congolese in English or France. But you will not understand this thing. I'm coming. And so when you go outside, your language attracts you to your people. It gives you a sense of belonging. It gives you a sense of protection, hope. And it is easy for you to start up. You all will know that when you go abroad as Igbo man, you can never have peace among Igbo people, except they are using you. This Igbo Biafra. You can never be accepted in their midst. They practically call you fake Igbo. We were the one who were trying to think something was not right somewhere. And so we said, I am on a bonde bende Igbo. At least so they have idea of who we are. But if you don't push this narrative, nobody will push it for you. And so forget about your fune. It's an advantage. Have I told you, my immediate younger brother can speak more than 19 international languages. 19 international languages from across the world. It is amazing. But then, he still retained our language. He was the one speaking fune for me, and I cut it off. You are now in Abo. You must speak Abo. Leave all those bro. And so you can learn anybody's language. My brother, if you lose your own language, you have not learned any language. Because if you can't speak your language, you will never know the history behind your very existence. Both your language and your land, you will not know the history. That is why most of you are very fast, selling your parents' grief, selling everything. Because you don't know the purpose of the umbilical cord of your ancestors, maybe including you buried in your land. But all these things become possible. You can communicate the wisdom of the ancient people, your own ancestors, to your children. Only when they hear. Because there are a lot of things in our language that is not represented in English. So we have to adopt. And so if I want to tell them about the animal known as Obu, what do you call Obu in English? And I'll tell my son, this Obu, Agwakon here. How will he understand? How will she understand? But if they can speak my language, they will know the particular bird that I'm talking about. In most cases, watch class of intellectuals from the Igbo extraction who want to make a parable cited by Chinua Achebe when they say Eleken Tioba. Since men of these days has learned how to shoot without missing, Eleken Tioba has learned how to fly without perching. Even Chinua Achebe with his intellectual capacity don't know the name of Eleken Tioba in English. He has to adopt Igbo. If he were trying to tell his son who don't know Eleken Tioba, how is he going to discredit? And so you are lost out. That is why when I see a car person behaving like what I don't know. I don't blame them. I look into their life. Either they are crossbreed or they were not brought up at home. Because he threw a car son, you cannot mess with them. But this is the main purpose of this broadcast, so I will not digress further. Is that if you lose your language, it will be easy for other ethnic groups to assimilate you. The highest you can do is to blame them. Oh, they want to colonize us. Oh, they want to... No. France is a tiny country. All the countries in Europe are tiny countries. But all of them retain their official language. You go to German, they give you German. They are German. You go to France, they give you comment allez-vous, au revoir, bien merci. They are French. And you go to the UK, they give you the English. Not like this one I'm speaking of. You go to every country, they maintain their own language. Will our own be different? But of course, we are not world power. Or maybe your own language is not sounding well. And then you have not known the truth behind your language. Don't forget we have an adage in Agbo that says your language is your power. There are a particular ethnic group in Nigeria we mock because of their language. And that is the Akwa Ibom people. When they start like this, it can break propeller. You begin to hear things like Akwa disappointment, propeller, they will knock it front and back. Be laughing at them. But that language is gaining ground. Comedians has used it. They have mocked them. But these people head onto it because it sounds rough in your ear. Does it mean it's not making sense to them? But if you read your Bible, you know the Bible actually said that our individual languages doesn't sound good in other people's ear. But to those who are using those languages, they are communicating. And so if you don't have your own language intact, you are not communicating. And certainly, it will be easy for them to assimilate you. Today, most of us speak Igbo more than our dialect. Most of us speak Hausa more than our dialect. Most of us speak Yoruba more than our dialect. What happens to your own dialect? How will you be able to communicate to your people? A few occasions I have to confront my king and the community. The first thing they want to know about me is, do you know this community? Question number one. Then number two, I wonder how I will be addressing my king speaking English. He's a lawyer and he understands English. But then, traditionally, it doesn't make sense. My case can never be taken serious, believe me. But when they know you know everything, in fact, when I speak to my elders and members of the king cabinet, I speak to them in parables and in idiom. It can come up anywhere. And each time I give one, they will look at me. If they wanted to compromise, they will change it. I don't need plenty words. I give them back the secret of communication from my ancestors. And then when I go to your own place, and I start speaking your language, and I come to my own place, and I can't speak my language, my brother, omeni wonyeka ihwenwe hili ojo ni nrinweji jada agwande nkenyi n'oge ruelu onye ole keje Somalia na ali onye wondwa oge ruelu nu keji gbo na agwụ mmụọ nu efa unu nri omenu nuru agwụ mmụọ efa ndị Igbo efa ndị Yoruba efa ndị Awụsa oge ruelu nu eje kwụsị na emani do onye wonye na emani onye wonye maka n'ikike na nwora ndị Igbo je ebu weje kwa egwu n'ụwa mani onye onye wodo onye efa bụ ka anyị na-ebi onye ọ na-eche ugbo onye ọ na-eche ọnụ ka ndị Igbo welichara. They will be able to assimilate you. Go and look at 99.9% of Igbo Biafra expansionists who are uniting in Igbo. All of them are not Anyama. The closest is crossbreed. The one that says is almighty in Igbo. That one father is Menugu. The other idiot jumping up, his father is from Anambra. They pregnant our sister, so they must tell us our history. They can speak our language. It's easy for them to infiltrate us. Maybe after this broadcast, I will pop up the picture of Ned Ngoku with two of them. Ask Ned Ngoku, where does his father or his mother come from? He's a crossbreed. But if you don't even speak language, how will you understand? And so, if you lose your language, anybody will assimilate you. Which is one thing we cannot afford. We are older than the people that want to assimilate us, so we will not allow them. Number two, if you lose your language, it creates room for political dominance. It will dominate you politically. Look at during election. It is language. Tinubu is empowered today by one powerful statement. He said many things. No Nigerian remember what Tinubu said. But one will never be erased. And that is when the time matter, Tinubu stood up and said, Emilio, come. He would have simply said, it is my turn. You don't understand that body language. It is more powerful than all the grammar you can have in your advanced learner dictionary. It is more powerful than the grammar that could tear the world apart. It is registered in the heart of people who owns that man. And he passed the message. Precisely. He got his target. Did you hear it? He didn't say, it's my turn. It's my turn. He would sound like a rascal. If he had said, all my turn, for instance, he used Igbo, the people will say, see, this man won't catch us Mugu. Or use Hausa. Hausa say, see, he think he can deceive us. Because that is what it will mean. It will not take him serious. But by the time he played that ethnic card, powered by language, you will never forget it in the history that President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, during election, told the whole world in his language, "It is my turn, Emilio Kon." You see their body language. Nkanye bunkanye, nkanye bunkanye. What the moment Igbo man begin to tell you nkanye bunkanye, kanye bodon kanye, even though now they cannot kill the whole Nigeria, Igbo people will defend him. Nihi na nkanye bunkanye. Ndi abo ele hu ka ikeku na nyi le bush iche buhu. But you will not understand. And so today, because we are losing our language, somebody like Bata will come and speak for Ikule people inside the Igbo Council. Somebody like Nedi Nwoko will come and speak for Anyoma people inside an Igbo Council. Onyeji Oji. Now look at their body language. They want to be governor. And imagine if Igbo people give Nedi Nwoko the opportunity to be the governor of Anyoma State, for instance. Where will his loyalty lies? Where will his loyalty lies? I'll not be able to go deeper than this, but I expect you to use your tongue and count your teeth. They have infiltrated us already, remaining political dominance. And this is because we lose our language. And this is because we are forgetting who we are. And this is because without your language, there are doors that will not open up to you. You think every prayer God refused to answer in English, that he will not answer it in your language? He made tongues. He made tribes. Don't let anybody assimilate you. Did you not hear him? Every tongues and tribes will appear before him. You think it's a bad religion? Was it not he who changed our language according to the story of the Tower of Babel? And then why do you want to give it up? Why do you want to choose the one that does not belong to you? Your language is your power. This is just an eye-opening of you retaining your language. Nde kandi anyoma. Ali yo kan radio no. Acho nem no nem mekọ no hiamare. Maka na anyahomale onwele ihe ndi omene nyira agbachi nkete. Ihe onye agbachi nkete ya ka ibe eme na hia. Onu ni asusu ali anyi nhu. Enya gwale. Ihe we joku ne ndi niile ra hu we say iwe enyi Igbo iwe enyi Yoruba iwe onye hu ne iwe onye hu ne. Oge ru onye odeji zamefa na je weli ka gbakota nya so. Oge ru ele anyi ji guma mu onye fenye. Oge ru ele we ji unu ji suman osusu ali anyi. Let's take a little bit insight there. Let's say they are doing census. Do you know that 99.9% of Anyoma people will be rated as Igbo people? What has Igbo people done for Anyoma people? From Midwestern region to Bender State to Edo and Delta, what has Igbo people done for us? It's tomorrow they want to do for us. The same Igbo Biafra people that want to take our very life. My brother, wisen up. This is where I'll bring the broadcast to an end. And so don't mind my dressing. It is a car dressing. But Igbo people can claim it. Go to my Facebook and ask them question. Please, which people dress like this? They say, oh, Igbo, now they can't say savior. Oh, Igbos are you? Igbo, to them, they are mocking me. But they are predictable and very pathetic. Everybody will know them for who they are. Every tools they have prepared to disgrace me. From their mouth, they have declared the judgment of God. We simply ask them to leave us alone. We are minority and we are not crying about it. We are poor and we don't have issue with that. We are illiterate and we are okay. Don't you see my uncompleted building? And now I'm dressing like a chief. Am I complaining? Shapo kwa nenyo no nenya de kokwu ime miri ni nchaba ya nyanya. Ndị ni reji we anyu ahụ kike we kan you weekend. Ne ko ha mo no. Peace, fellow Nigerians who don't want to dominate or expand or pursue us from our land because we are one Nigeria.